On the day of our wedding anniversary, my husband and I, along with our daughter, sat around the table and enjoyed a cheerful meal together. Towards the end of the meal, my husband pulled out a long, slender paper bag.
"Since today is our wedding anniversary, I've prepared a special wine. You like it, don't you?"
"Oh, thank you. I'm so happy."
"I'll uncork it for you. Just wait a moment. I think the wine opener was in the kitchen."
My husband said that with deliberate casualness, then got up and headed towards the kitchen. He returned shortly after with the wine poured into glasses, bringing one over to me.
"Here, please have some."
"Thank you, I'll take it." The moment I touched the wine that was offered to me, I let out a groan. I'm in so much pain." With a pained expression, I clutched my throat and collapsed on the spot. Seeing me writhing in agony, our 7-year-old daughter started crying and screaming. "Dad! Mom! We need to call an ambulance right away." However, my husband merely looked down at me with cold eyes as I struggled and suffered. Beside him, our daughter kept tugging at his clothes, continuing to scream for help. When I became barely able to move, my husband brushed off our daughter's arm and left the house without a word. Just after the front door closed, I slowly managed to get up. Seriously, just as I expected. My name is Meredith Shepard. I'm a 34-year-old married woman. I'm somewhat of a recognized figure as a composer. Even after having children, I continue to provide songs for famous singers. Some songs I composed when I was single were even chosen as theme songs for dramas, which has allowed me to live a slightly more affluent life thanks to the royalties. I met my husband Kevin at the reception of a friend's wedding. He worked as a salesperson for a beer brewery, and our mutual love for alcohol brought us closer. Kevin was a bit of a free spirit, not one to think ahead, but those traits always seemed endearing to me at the time, I thought. We enjoyed drinking together on weekends, and eventually got married a few years later. Soon after, we were blessed with our daughter Hazel. One thing I noticed after getting married was that Kevin hardly ever did any housework or childcare. Even after 6 months since Hazel was born, he seemed to completely ignore me, lounging on the sofa while I ran around busy. At that moment, Hazel, who was sleeping in her crib, started crying.
"Hey, Meredith. Hazel's crying, you know."
"Hold on. I'm using the stove right now. Could you please hold her for a bit?"
"Huh? It's such a hassle. Besides, Hazel probably prefers you, Mom."
With such excuses, Kevin kept his eyes glued to his phone. I sighed. I turned off the stove and comforted Hazel. "Hey, Kevin, I've been meaning to say this for a while. Could you help out a bit more with household chores and childcare? Doing everything alone is really tough."
"Huh? Why me?"
"Why? Because I also work in between, and Hazel is our child, right?" As I earnestly expressed this, Kevin chuckled dismissively.
"Well then, why don't we just hire a housekeeper or a babysitter?"
"Huh?"
"Meredith, you're raking in royalties, right? Shouldn't that make things a breeze for you?"
"It's not like that at all. I want to save money for Hazel's future. And we agreed before we got married not to raise our standard of living."
"Did we? Well, anyway, I'm tired from working outside, so you should handle everything at home."
He doesn't take things seriously and responds in this manner. I eventually gave up and started handling household chores and childcare by myself. Hazel has grown up healthy and is now 6 years old. My in-laws wanted to celebrate Hazel's enrollment in elementary school, so we decided to have a dinner party. They live about an hour away by car, and we have a good relationship. My father-in-law, Keith, has a strong sense of justice and dislikes dishonesty. Although he can be strict, he's very kind to me. On the other hand, my mother-in-law, Martha, has a calm and gentle personality and is quite charming.
"Grandpa, Grandma, thank you for buying me the school bag."
At the dinner party in the restaurant, Hazel showed off her brand new school bag.
Hazel has grown so much, and it's all thanks to Meredith.
With that, my father-in-law tilted his cup towards me. I felt embarrassed. Oh no, not at all. Hazel is such a good kid, so she makes things easier for me every day.
Well, she's my daughter after all,
Kevin said proudly for some reason. I just chuckled and let it slide. By the way, Meredith, I heard you're going to write the theme song for a movie next time. In response to my mother-in-law's voice, I answered, Yes, it's almost finished and the movie will be released next month.
Kevin, you sure got yourself an amazing wife. She's quite a catch.
Although my father-in-law addressed Kevin, he seemed inexplicably unhappy.
But, she doesn't exactly let me live luxuriously, even though she's making money,
Huh? My in-laws and I were surprised, but Kevin continued regardless.
I mean, I thought being a famous composer would mean I could live a luxurious life too, but she hardly gives me any spending money, and she's so stubborn about not raising our standard of living. She's really stingy. Hold on, Kevin. What are you saying? Even the luxury apartment you're living in, Meredith bought it, right?
My mother-in-law scolded him, and my father-in-law followed suit.
That's right, Kevin. In general, it's the man's responsibility to provide for the family. If you have time to rely on Meredith, why not make an effort to increase your own salary? Yeah, I got it.
When Kevin grimly acknowledged, he fell silent. Despite feeling a bit awkward, I felt grateful for my in-laws' support. Was it around that time when Kevin started coming home late every night, citing busy work? Initially, I didn't pay much attention considering that salespeople often have frequent client meetings. However, even on days off, he wasn't at home, and when he did return, he was constantly on his phone. His attitude towards Hazel also became increasingly cold. One Sunday, we had plans we made earlier in the week, so I woke up Kevin, who was still asleep, to remind him.
Dad, wake up. It's already past 9 o'clock. You said we were going out together today, remember?
Then Kevin, who was lying in bed, pushed Hazel away without saying a word. Hazel fell on her bottom, her eyes welling up with tears. Hey, what are you doing? While holding Hazel, who was crying, I protested against him, but when he got up, he looked grumpy.
I have plans today, and I wanted to sleep a little longer. You're forcing me to wake up as always.
What? That wasn't the plan. Besides pushing our daughter like that.
Shut up. You guys are annoying. Get out of the bedroom now.
Hazel and I were pushed out of the bedroom, and Kevin after that dressed up and went out somewhere. What's with that attitude? Treating Hazel like that? I can't forgive it. While trying to appease Hazel's mood, I felt my distrust towards Kevin growing. Then, one evening, a month later, I was exhausted after a deadline at work that day, so I put Hazel to bed and fell asleep early. I woke up in the middle of the night thirsty, and when I went to the kitchen for a drink, I heard Kevin's voice chatting happily from the living room. It seemed he was talking to someone on the phone. I wondered who he was talking to. As I strained my ears, these words suddenly caught my attention.
You're the only one I love, Julia.
I widened my eyes and froze. This was undoubtedly a conversation with his affair partner. My blood boiled, and just as I was about to confront Kevin, he uttered a meaningful phrase.
The execution will be on our anniversary 3 days from now. Everything will be according to plan.
Hearing the content of the conversation, I shrank in fear. What? Kevin was cheating on me? And to think he had such a terrifying plan? I quietly recorded his conversation on my phone and returned to the bedroom before Kevin arrived. He soon came into the bedroom and started snoring heavily beside me. I couldn't sleep at all that night. The next day after Kevin went to work, I stayed home alone and organized my thoughts. At first, I was overwhelmed with sadness from the betrayal, but gradually intense anger started to build up. So that's how it is. Well, if that's the case, I have my own plans too. Just wait and see. I bought surveillance cameras from an electronics store and installed them in the house. And so, on the anniversary that arrived 3 days later, Kevin began speaking to me kindly for the morning.
Meredith, today is our wedding anniversary, right?
Yes, it is. Did you remember? I responded casually.
Of course. Lately, I've been busy with work and haven't been able to be home much. But I'll be back early today to celebrate our anniversary together as a family.
That's wonderful. I'll be preparing a feast at home, so look forward to it.
Oh, Meredith, I love you.
Kevin smiled at me and went to work as I pretended to know nothing. Meanwhile, I proceeded with the preparations for the plan methodically. As 6 p.m. approached, I waited at home, having prepared a feast for Kevin's return. Welcome home, Kevin.
Welcome back, Daddy.
Hazel seemed delighted to see Kevin returning earlier than usual. I am about to show her a hell of a scene. I silently apologized to Hazel in my mind.
Whoa, what a feast. Let's dig in right away.
We gathered around the table and enjoyed our meal with cheerful conversation. As we neared the end of the meal, Kevin pulled out a long, thin paper bag.
Today is our wedding anniversary, so I prepared a special wine. Meredith, you'll like it, right?
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy.
I'll uncork it for you. Just wait a moment. Let's see, the wine opener was in the kitchen, right?
My husband said so deliberately and got up from his seat, heading towards the kitchen. Then he brought the wine poured into the glass to me.
Here you go.
Thank you, Kevin. I'll have it. The moment I put the wine offered to my lips, I let out a groan. Ah, I'm in so much pain. With a pained expression, I clutched my throat and collapsed on the spot. To see me writhing in agony, our 7-year-old daughter started crying and screaming.
Dad! Mom, we need to call an ambulance.
However, my husband only looked down at me with cold eyes as I struggled. Next to me, our daughter continued to tug at the hem of his clothes, screaming. When I became unable to move, barely breathing, my husband brushed off our daughter's arm and left the house in silence. Just after the front door closed, I slowly sat up. Wow, just as I expected.
Huh? Mom?
Seeing me acting cool, Hazel was left dumbfounded. I embraced my daughter, tears and snot covering her. Hazel, I'm sorry. This was just a prank. I'm sorry for surprising you.
Huh? A prank? Geez, Mom, I was really surprised.
There were some people watching us dumbfounded from the shadows. Kevin returned home late at night.
Hey, Hazel, are you already asleep?
Saying that, Kevin enters the house. I turn off the lights in the living room and hide in the darkness. Welcome home, Kevin.
Huh?
When I turn on the lights in the living room, Kevin gasps. Seeing me standing there nonchalantly, he collapses in shock.
You? Why?
Why aren't I dead, you mean? He looks up at me with a face almost bursting with rage as I inform him with a smile. That wine was for pretending to drink. I knew about your plan. On the day I eavesdropped on Kevin's phone call, he said such things.
You'll provide the poison, won't you? You'll get me the tasteless, odorless stuff, right? She likes wine, so if you put it in wine, she'll be all over it. Just make it look like she took her own life because of work stress. Once that woman is gone, everything will go according to plan. The insurance money on her, her royalties, this apartment, they'll all be ours. Let's start a new life with that.
When Kevin realized I had grasped the plan, he shouted angrily, his face turning red.
You? Were you eavesdropping?
Eavesdropping is such bad manners, huh? It's worse to talk about such things at home. Thanks to that, I narrowly escaped death. When I said this with a smile, Kevin began to tremble uncontrollably. He slowly took out an unfamiliar small bottle from my bag. He had probably put it there to make it look like I had taken my own life.
If I'm caught, there's no helping it. Then I'll shove this into your mouth right now. There's still time.
With a cornered expression, Kevin approached menacingly. Just as I tried to step back and escape, suddenly a loud voice echoed.
Kevin, are you not going to stop? Huh? Dad?
Standing there were his parents with a fierce expression.
Why are you and Mom here? We were called by Meredith and have been here since evening. Huh? We've been watching the footage from the cameras set up in another room all this time. I saw you pouring the contents of the bottle into the wine glass and putting it into Meredith's bag.
My father-in-law pointed to a single surveillance camera. It captured the entire scene of my husband's actions, which his parents, hiding in another room, watched. Kevin had a shocked expression upon noticing the camera's presence. That's not all. I also recorded the contents of the conversations you had on the phone that day. I played back the recorded audio on the spot. His parents grimaced at the disgusting contents, and Kevin turned pale. Recorded phone calls and camera footage, and the wine you left unfinished earlier. With this much evidence, handing you over to the police will be easy.
No, please.
Kevin first crawled towards his parents.
Dad, Mom, help me. You don't want your son to become a criminal, do you? You idiot.
My father-in-law hit Kevin with all the force he could muster. His mother scorned him as he was sent flying, looking at him like he was a piece of filth. Trying to kill Meredith was one thing, but what about that attitude towards crying Hazel? You're a disgrace as a human being. We no longer see you as our son.
We've already reported to the police a while ago. They should be arriving soon. You're going to behave yourself quietly.
Realizing he had been abandoned by his parents, Kevin staggered towards me with a tear-streaked and snotty face.
Meredith.
What is it? Don't come near me.
Meredith, please forgive me. If you don't press charges against me, I can avoid arrest. I only love you. Let's live happily together again with Hazel.
I shouted at Kevin. Are you out of your mind? Who forgives someone who tried to take their life?
I'm sorry. I'll do anything. Please.
I'll never forgive you or your mistress. You'll pay for your sins behind bars at most. In the next moment, Kevin slumped dejectedly as sirens approached from afar. Through lawyers, our divorce was finalized. Kevin's parents paid a hefty sum as compensation for the trouble. Kevin's affair partner seemed to be a pharmacy student. She tried to take my life by using poison obtained from the university. When I demanded compensation from her, her parents wired the money. I've decided I won't forgive her either. Kevin went behind bars, but neither his parents nor I visited him. They say they'll take Kevin in once he's released. They promised to find him work on a tuna fishing boat through relatives. If he never comes near me and Hazel again, that's fine. On the other hand, I've moved to a distant place with my daughter and lead a peaceful life. I told Hazel, Daddy went far away for work. But when she said,
he doesn't need to come back anymore,
I couldn't help but smile a little. From now on, I will look forward to my daughter's growth, work hard at my job, and live positively.